Joel's Steakhouse. The bull or the cow out in front saved, but the building is a complete loss. And you think about in a restaurant, think about all of the flammable, explosive items that you have in a restaurant. Just the oil alone that is used for cooking purposes. And the bar. Think of the bar. I mean, you can. There's a reason why people cook with alcohol, because you can light a flame on it. And you saw explosions. The thing just went up in flames. The restaurant closed. Everybody left by like 2:30. And the pictures that you might have seen all over Facebook came from like 4 o'clock in the morning when that building went up in flames. And you actually spoke with the owner, Andrew.
I did, yeah, and there's a good possibility we'll speak with him later tonight.
I'm worried that he doesn't have the insurance. I hope he has the insurance. I haven't seen anything anywhere because he hasn't spoken to anybody, but I hope to God he has insurance.
Yeah, well,
these restaurants, it's very difficult. The business is a tough business, and sometimes you let things expire. It's the end of the year. I hope that's not the case.
Right. Oh, well, that's a great point, too. That's a great point. And it's a Central New York landmark, too. You got to think about it. Everybody knows the Big Bull, and the food that they serve there was very good. And I'd been there a couple of times myself. And
I can go back to the days when they say that the Joel's Steakhouse opened in the 1960s. But I remember sitting there in the booth on the carousel as you would slowly go round and round. And you're eating there, and the waitress would get up onto the carousel, and it was the coolest concept ever. And, that ended up being taken out. It was too expensive, but the owner did amazing changes over there and improvements and was working on it. And, you put your life into something like that. And it's very sad. So that's terrible. I mentioned it. Okay, the lottery. Somebody else just called and asked, and I think you talked to him and said, listen, if we took this lottery and decided enough is enough, we're not going to have the lottery, we've decided against it, we're going to split the money up with everyone in America, we would all be millionaires.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay, so officially we'll turn to our mathematician, Christine Bellino, who will give you the full details.
I'm so not the mathematician.
So how many people live in the United States of America?
So as of 2015, the number is estimated at 320 million people.
320 million. So if you were to take $1.3 billion and split it up between 320 million Americans, how much would everyone get?
$4.
$4.06.
Right. It's 0.0625, so just a little more than 6 cents.
Well, what if we could split it up with half of the people in America?
$8.
You didn't ask me to do that calculation.
That'd be $8.12.
I'm thinking. My math's not great.
That's what I was thinking. I'm just saying you split it in half, you double on the other side.
Well, if you figure, much of the population is comprised of children, so then you just
So
split
now,
it by households.
Could you go to households?
Yeah,
how many households are there in the United States?
Give me a minute.
You do the math on that one.
So I was talking.
Cazenovia Central School on a 2-hour delay because of a power outage. There are some other schools in the Syracuse area as well, but we have Cazenovia for you on a 2-hour delay.
I was talking with my girlfriend Dallas last night about Powerball, and she said, if we were to win the money, I would pay somebody to help Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey break out of prison.
Okay. We'll get into the murderer.
I just have to say.
Making of a murderer. We'll get into that one coming up as well because we have a lot to talk about with that, too. Ricky Gervais on the Golden Globe Awards. First of all, he took a couple of shots at Caitlyn Jenner in his opening monologue.
But as I say, I'm going to be nice tonight. I've changed. Not as much as Bruce Jenner, obviously. Now Caitlyn Jenner, of course. What a year she's had. She became a role model for trans people everywhere, showing great bravery in breaking down barriers and destroying stereotypes. She didn't do a lot for women drivers, but...
Oh, wow.
That was funny. That's at least funny. This turned into a roast.
Well, and before the Golden Globes aired, they were running promos where Ricky Gervais was basically saying, I may even make some people cry. Like, he had come out... out of the gate saying that he was going to be a
And listen, they brought him back 3 years ago, was it 3 years ago? For 3 years in a row, he did the Golden Globes, and they stopped having him because they had so much to deal with afterwards. In his wake, left in his wake. Well, they brought him back. Apparently, they needed the ratings. Here he goes, attacking Ben Affleck.
Our next presenter is the star of the hilarious comedy The Martian. Oh, he nearly died. Right. He's also the only person who Ben Affleck hasn't been unfaithful to. Please welcome Matt Damon.
Oh, boy. And I got to tell you, The Martian, how does The Martian win? I have to ask Willie Waffle this. How does The Martian win Best Comedy?
Or musical.
They must have entered themselves in as one musical?
So the category was Best Comedy or Musical.
I don't understand. It's
So
not
it's
a
one of the
musical.
two.
It's not a comedy. Even when the producer, the director came up after he won, he was like, comedy? I don't know, but hey, this is awesome. So, okay, then the big thing was Ricky Gervais went after Mel Gibson. Now, you know Mel Gibson got drunk and he was stopped. Remember that?
Yeah,
Which
at
time?
DWI, there were several times. In a DWI, and he started going off on this rant, and it got very, let's say, anti-Jewish. It was a bigoted rant. So here is Ricky Gervais introducing Mel Gibson.
A few years ago on this show, I made a joke about Mel Gibson getting a bit drunk and saying a few unsavory things. We've all done it. I wasn't judging him, but now I find myself in the awkward position of having to introduce him again. Listen, I'm sure it's embarrassing for both of us, okay? And I blame NBC for this terrible situation. Mel blames, we know who Mel blames. Listen, I still feel a bit bad for it, right? Mel's forgotten all about it, apparently. That's what drinking does. No. I want to say something nice about Mel before he comes out. Oh, yeah, okay, here you go. I'd rather have a drink with him in his hotel room tonight than with Bill Cosby. Please welcome Mel Gibson.
All right, so then Mel Gibson comes out and says, I got to tell you, I enjoy seeing Ricky because every 3 years, because it reminds me I have to have a colonoscopy. And everybody laughed, but then Ricky Gervais came back out and said, I have one more question. And he walked up to him, and they beeped the whole thing out. You could see there were F-bombs in the whole 9 yards. So the question is, and then Mel Gibson had this look on his face, and he began to almost quiver a little bit, like he wanted to
punch him.
A little Mad Max there, right? And so the question is, what did he say that we were not privy to actually hear?
You're going to play it?
And I could play the audio, but I can't. So legally, we can't play the audio, but I can kind of tell you in so many words what exactly was said, and I'll do that when we come back here. Right now, though, 6:33, Christine has the latest from the newsroom here. Good morning, Christine Bellino.
Good morning, and your news is brought to you by Clifford Fuel, providing Central New York with excellent service. Go to cliffordfuel.com each month to register for your chance to win a $100 gas card. Iconic singer and songwriter David Bowie is dead. Word of his death was posted on the artist's official social media account on Sunday and confirmed by his representative. Bowie died just 2 days after his 69th birthday and the release of his 25th studio album. A posting on his Facebook page says he was surrounded by his family when he died following an 18-month-long battle with cancer. He's survived by his children, film director Duncan Jones, 15-year-old daughter Lexi, and his second wife, the former supermodel Iman. Investigators working to learn whether the man accused of shooting a Philadelphia police officer had ties with a group with radical beliefs. Edward Archer is facing attempted murder, aggravated assault, and other charges for allegedly shooting and seriously wounding Officer Jesse Hartnett on Thursday. Police say Archer confessed to the attack and said he had pledged allegiance to ISIS. The U.S. may be putting more strategic military assets in the Korean Peninsula. A South Korean Defense Ministry spokesman this morning said the two nations are talking about deploying more assets in light of North Korea's claim last week that it tested a hydrogen bomb. South Korea media report those assets could include B-2 bombers, nuclear-powered submarines, and F-22 stealth fighter jets. The news comes after a B-52 flew over South Korea yesterday in a show of strength against the North. The Revenant, the big winner in the 73rd Golden Globe Awards, The Tale of Survival and Redemption in the Early American West, took the award for Best Motion Picture Drama, and star Leonardo DiCaprio won the Best Actor Award. You can find a full recap of the Golden Globes at WIBX950.com. Partly cloudy, very windy, with a high today of 25 degrees, your low tonight 15. Snow showers on Tuesday, the high 32 and a low of 16. Wind and light snow on Wednesday, the high 21 and a low of 11 degrees. We do have a wind advisory in effect today.
There's the wind sound effect I gave you right there.
Lake effect snow advisory in effect Tuesday through Wednesday. The National Weather Service says that double whammy of wind and lake effect snow could make for very hazardous driving conditions, so please do use caution. We also want to remind you that Cazenovia Central Schools are on a 2-hour delay this morning because of a power outage. Again, Cazenovia Central Schools on a 2-hour delay because of a power outage. 21 degrees at 6:35.
All right, so what exactly did he say, that Ricky Gervais? What did he say to Mel Gibson? And NBC just cut it out so we couldn't hear it. Because we're not apparently old enough to be able to hear that language. Well, you know the deal. We'll give you, I'll read it to you in so many words, and you'll know exactly what was said. Big vote today coming up in Whitesboro. They're going to be voting, residents here will be voting on the village seal, which we will talk about. And coming up next hour, we'll talk with the mayor, Pat O'Connor, in Whitesboro. Coming up next hour. We'll get to that. Also, I have a mystery top 40 DJ I want to play for you. Pretty excited about this today. I'm excited about it. And you will be too, I think. Maybe you've already heard it. I don't know. For me, it was new. I said to you that I had a very difficult weekend. Just a lot to do. We had the hockey game on Saturday night, Utica College hockey. What was the final? Because I left before the final. They played really well against Buffalo State, and they played really well against Oswego on Friday night. They tied Oswego at 1 apiece. And I also got a chance to MC the $20,000 giveaway of the tuition. And the girl came pretty close, the female student there.
She did.
She took a shot. I thought she took a really good shot. And here's something interesting. They clean the ice with a Zamboni first and then let them shoot, because they say it increases the chances of the student to be able to hit the $20,000. Pretty cool. I like it. Anyway, I had a lot going on, and I discovered a lot this weekend. But let's just talk about I received a gift from my father and mother for Christmas, and I looked at it and said, okay, I'll never, ever use that. And then I realized, you as you grow older, I deal with this with my kids. It's like, put a stinking coat on. What are you doing? I'm not cold. No, that's not what it is. They don't feel they look good in the outfit, which makes them feel warm. But as you get a little older, you begin to be like, screw that.
Right.
I'm going to be warm. I have stood out in the cold and frozen my rear end off too many times. And now in my life, I simply am going to be warm. I don't want to be cold. Mm-hmm. So the same thing kind of happened here. This I knew would make me look stupid. Oh, Buff State came back and won that game?
Yeah.
Darn it all. This would make me look stupid. However, two things happened over the weekend. I had to work on a toilet issue. We had a running water problem in the toilet that we didn't know about, and today I had to pay the water bill, which was extremely high, like 4 times what we would normally pay. And then my wife is like, okay, you're fixing that toilet. So the problem is this toilet has I believe it's called FlushMate, and it's a power flush. Have you ever used the toilet in our downstairs bathroom? Mm-hmm. When it flushes, if you're actually sitting on the toilet, it will suck in your insides. It'll take them right down. You will lose everything. It'll come right to your intestines. This thing, it's a power flush, not the power flush that you see. Some people use power flush. This is called FlushMate. It's a canister that goes in. The water never goes into the basin, into the tank of the toilet. It's a canister. And that canister is used with air pressure, and it can be very dangerous when you're working on it. Trust me.
Do you live on an airplane?
This is exactly what it sounds like when the thing flushes. It just takes everything with it. And I mean everything. It's amazing. So the unit went bad, so I had to get another unit. Well, I've had it, but I did not replace it. Then we get the bill, and she's like, replace it. So I did. And like everything else, when you try to do something yourself, it turns into a much bigger project than you ever thought. So I'm going on it, and I'm having a hard time seeing in. So I'm holding a flashlight with my mouth, and then she gets over top of me, but I'm looking, and I can't see. It was terrible. A, that's part number one. B, I drove my wife's car. My car has auto lights, so I never have to turn my lights on or off. It automatically happens. Mm-hmm. Hers does not. So I drove her car home. I parked it in the garage. Now, this part of the story is I tried to buy a treadmill before Christmas, and I bought one. It's a beautiful treadmill. The problem is we can't fit it inside the house. It's too big. So it's now sitting in my garage. Mm-hmm. Very large, very difficult. So the bars of it come out, the legs. So my wife has to drive the car in perfectly, and it was me that did it, right up to the treadmill, which has these bars that don't come off. Mm-hmm. Steel. Okay, so I leave the lights on. The next morning she tries to leave. The car's dead. No problem. I've got jumper cables. I'll use my car to jump her car. So I go out to put it into neutral, so my son can then push the vehicle out.
Right.
And then I'll be able to get the jumper cables on because we'll be able to open the hood. Problem is, when this Honda, apparently, when it loses all power, it will not allow you to take it out of park.
No.
What do we do?
Knock down the
garage.
So
we were able to lift it by about 1.5 inches. So my son put a piece of wood inside to hold the hood up by 1.5 inches. Now I'm inside the whole thing, reaching in to try to get these cables hooked to the battery, and then hopefully it's going to fit. The cables will be long enough to reach to my car. Okay? So long story short, I can't see inside. So I'm trying to tell my son, shine the flashlight in there so I can see. I can't see the battery, and I'm afraid I'm going to put the wrong cable on the wrong. So, i.e. the solution. And this is the gift that my father had gotten me and my mother, and I didn't think I'd ever wear it, but it is awesome.
That is so cool.
Look at this thing. It is a light that goes on your head like a miner's light. And it saved everything. It saved the day for me. I was able to, look at this, Andrew. I can shine right. And if there's an emergency, I can click it again. Hold on. And I can have a red light.
Yeah.
I can have a green light. Everyone go. If I was redirecting traffic or something, it could be a safety thing. Or if there's an emergency, I can get it to blink, I think. Yeah. Be careful. And I could be directing traffic. The cops should all have these.
That's a great invention.
Isn't it?
I got that for my stepdad for Christmas because he likes to take walks and stuff.
Isn't it
late
bright?
at night.
It's very bright, and I can click it down. You can probably hear a click there. But this has been the greatest.
You're blinding me
I'm
with that
sorry.
thing.
We're all
That's
blind.
incredible.
Isn't it awesome?
That is incredible. You know, you look like who's the
I look like a miner.
The villain in Batman there.
You have to turn it off, though, so it
Which
doesn't
one?
drain out the battery.
Yeah.
When we're back on
Bane.
TV, you need to
Bane? Yeah.
bring that in again.
Isn't that beautiful, though?
You look
and
like
I
Bane.
got to tell you, I didn't care what I looked like.
That's
All
funny.
I cared is that I could actually, and I was able to use both hands. And the flashlight, you got to tilt your head a little bit to make it work perfectly. Sometimes it's a little bit awkward, but it really did. It really worked, and it
I'm
changed
still
everything for me.
having trouble seeing. So
It is a bright light. Can you imagine me out directing traffic if it was some sort of a fender bender or something? I'll have the thing blinking. I'll create another accident because I'll blind the driver with the light because it's so bright.
That's funny.
Yeah. Okay, so that's that. All right. Are we going to do?
We can do a
break?
headline bet here.
Okay, we'll do the headline. Buffalo State won that game against UC. They were up 1-0, and Buff State ended up winning that on Saturday night. Great night though, and unfortunately, nobody won the big $1 billion. But that has grown. Here's Christine with an update. Good morning.
Good morning. It's 6:59. Investigators still trying to find out whether a man accused of shooting a Philadelphia police officer had ties to a group with radical beliefs. The bull intact, but the rest of the building is not, and a man is recovering after being shot at a house party over the weekend.
Giants head coach Tom Coughlin will interview today for the head coaching job in Philadelphia. How shocking is that?
Wow. And Andrew very happy with his Packers that held on to win that game. Tim Reed, I got to say, very sad.
Why?
So we heard overnight that David Bowie has passed away. 69 years old. Last 18 months he's had cancer. I did not know that this was David Bowie on Under Pressure. I guess I didn't remember that. I knew Queen.
Yeah, it was Queen.
Yeah, but it's David Bowie. Here he explains about the philosophy of life. This is David Bowie talking in 1973. Listen to this. I don't know if you've ever been to the Energy Farm Church, but it's it's in Clayville. And
You should see their NIMO bill.
yeah, boy. Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sad though.
Well, I was getting dressed, and when I heard the news, I totally changed my wardrobe and dressed all in black.
You did well. There you go. That actually is fitting. You're a rock fan.
I am.
People don't know that.
Yeah,
but,
I am. And I saw Bowie in at Syracuse at the Carrier. That is the worst acoustics.
You know,
goodness.
The only place to see a show at the Dome is right in front.
Yeah.
If you're not right up front and you have the speakers, other than that, you're getting echo through the whole dome. It is just an awful place to see
The only
a show.
good show I saw there was Pink Floyd, and Pink Floyd it took a week for them to set up the whole stage. So they set up everything right. But it was a great show, but lousy acoustics for Bowie.
So much so, I'm surprised that some musical acts don't refuse to play there because you don't walk away with a good impression of that band playing live.
I got to tell you, when was the last time they had a big show there? They really don't anymore.
Yeah. I saw Billy Joel there. Horrible.
I've
Horrible
seen Billy Joel
acoustics.
there with Elton John. I saw it, and it was awesome. But again, you have to be in the perfect spot of the speakers, otherwise,
if you're in the sides.
Oh, it's terrible. I mean, a lot of people don't like the floor. It's the only place you can hear a show at the Dome. It's just terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky enough. Billy Joel, he's one of my bucket list concerts at the time, and when I saw him this past year, I made sure to spend the money, good amount of money. I was 20 rows back, right in front of the speakers, which was good. But I heard from other people it was rough.
Listen, best place to see a show, and I can't wait to go to a show this summer, is the grandstand at the State Fair. That is awesome. Best sound you're ever going to get.
That's it. Gone.
It's all gone now, right?
Yeah.
All right, so what are we doing there, Tim Reed? Charity bib, right?
Charity bib. So we're making the announcement out to not-for-profits to submit for this year's charity bib program. We're going to allow 10 agencies that are somewhat in alignment with the Boilermaker. We're going to be doing 125 bibs, same amount that we did last year. One of the things we're going to do a little different, and I know Christine actually had mentioned it at a previous time when we did an interview, was that there were some people with the charity bib component who weren't happy that there was, I think there was a 3% fee that took place in regards to it, so that the agencies only got 97 cents out of the dollar. This year we're going back to the old school way that we did with Quad Simia. They're going to support us totally, so 100% of the dollars that they raise go right back to the agencies.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, even
3% is not a.
I'm not expecting the fundraising platform to take about poverty, but
I gotta tell you though, if every nonprofit, if every fundraiser used 3% as their number, it would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's Governor Cuomo at work.
Yeah.
And I think I said it off the air, for the record.
All right, well, sorry, spoiler alert.
So anyway, so how do they get in? And the deadline, though, is coming up on March 7th.
So the agency, if you want to be a charity bib runner, this doesn't really affect you. This is just for the not-for-profits. Just please email us to charity@boilermaker.com. We'll send you an application, and then we're going to be applications are going to be due on January 22nd. We'll make the picks early in February, and then we start registration in March.
It's hard to. I mean, I hate to say, but when you start hearing about the Boilermaker, it gives us hope
that the spring is coming.
And we really haven't had, though,
I
a
know.
long winter at
Yeah,
this
but
point. Here we are.
let's remember last year. We got fooled.
We did, and here we go into mid-January.
I know.
And we're about to really have maybe our first snow, and there's some saying it's probably not going to happen.
Some are saying maybe it's just going to be just up the north.
Up to the north, yeah. And
Andrew,
Tug Hill probably will get pounded, but I'm not sure we're going to.
Andrew, rebook Tim. Same interview,
Yeah.
February 12th, okay? So push this off 1 month.
Exactly.
We'll have more hope next month.
I want to give you an update on, if I can, here on the gas prices. Tim, I don't know if you follow this at all,
I
but
do.
I am a
with bated breath.
I am
drove to Stittville to save 3 cents.
I am. Well, it just so happens.
Whatever. I
drive by one every
Going to
day.
hate me. What? Yeah. So what's the low one?
Here
now?
we go. Are you ready?
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
The current prices. You might want to tell us if there's anything different. 7360186. Andrew is keeping track here, but we said that we would advertise those that are doing a low gas price, which to me is fair, right? A fair low gas price, and not bilk the customer. So here you go. In Ilion, the Sunoco in Ilion is $2.13, and you know that you can use a gas card. It'll get you down to, I believe, $2.05. But we're doing cash price only, so $2.13. Then the Sunoco it's the Gas Mart in Schuyler Lake is now at $2.05, which is the lowest price in the area. Sunoco Richfield Springs is at $2.07, and cash price, I took a picture of this over the weekend. The cash price this morning at the station that is the Gasway in Ilion is at $2.07. So $2.07 is cash price. You don't need a card or a deal. And then Christine is bragging that when she was up north, up in the Saratoga region over the weekend, what did you pay?
$1.99.
Yeah.
And that was the cash price. If you had the card, it was $1.89.
Wow.
It's coming. I mean,
No, it's never going to come to us. Tim, we are never going to get it.
We're a little
Yeah.
bubble.
I don't know if you know, there's a 3% extra tax on top of it. Somebody said to me the other day, we'll never have low prices because of the United County sales tax. That's why it'll never happen. But it's really not that. We're just not. There's no one creating the gas war that is forcing them to lower the price. So I'm saying we will advertise you every single day. If someone in the Utica area, Rome area, will just do the right thing and lower that damn gas price. Why should they be able to pay $2.07 in the Valley, $2.05 in Schuyler Lake? Hell, you don't even know where Schuyler Lake is.
Yeah, where is it?
It's on Route 28 heading down towards Cooperstown. You pass through it every time you go to the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Just south of Richfield
You could
Springs.
start your own political group. Gas prices are too damn high.
Gas prices are too damn
Now,
high.
I mean, really think about that. I mean, what are the
would be great.
What are the largest gas prices we've ever paid?
Well, we're in the $4
Were we at
range.
$4, right?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now we're complaining. We got to get it down to the
I wanted in the dollar range,
got-
somewhere in that dollar range, so that I can say
God.
17 gallons to fill your tank. I want to say double it. And you
Last
fill
time
the
I
tank.
remember that, I had short pants and a crew cut, and they gave you a glass. The guy would clean your windshield and whatever.
You might have actually been at the Pink Floyd concert at the Dome. All right, Andrew, keep me up to speed here on what we're doing. Today is a big vote. We're going to get to that next, but I will tell you, coming up at 7:35, I have a top 40 DJ for you, and I want you to listen to their air check. Tell me if it rings your bell. This goes back into, I would think, maybe this might be an air check from like 1980 or something. See if this rings your bell. I'll play it for you coming up at 7:35. Pat O'Connor, mayor in the city of, or in the village of Whitesboro, on the line right now. Good morning, Mayor. Good morning, Pat.
How's it going?
Good. So today's a big vote for you guys. Let's first of all talk about the seal and the history of the seal. We're talking about the emblem, the seal, and you see it on the vehicles, the village vehicles, and it is explain what it is.
So the most brief description, to be understandable, is it involves a friendly wrestling match between Hugh White and a Native American member of the Oneida tribe. It was a way that the Native Americans engaged in, I guess you could say, friendly relations with each other, Mr. White was invited to partake in that practice. He did so, ultimately won that friendly wrestling match, garnering respect from the Native Americans.
So now, do we know who made the artwork of the seal and when it dates back to?
I do not know that. The original seal dates back all the way to the 1880s.
All right.
And that seal, it looks as though that Mr. White is actually nearing taking the Native American to the ground. It changed in the 60s and in the 70s, ultimately to the seal that it is today.
So I just wanted to know if the person was still alive that I'm about to make fun of.
I don't know the answer to that.
All I'm going to say is that it looks like. Now, I wrestled in high school, and I've coached Pee Wee and modified over the years. My family, we wrestled, and you see pictures of grapplers, of wrestlers. This doesn't look like that, and I know that's what's happening. It almost looks like he's trying to choke the Indian. So the Oneida Indian. I think when we first talked about it, I said I understand the story, but I think it's a bad depiction of it. What are your thoughts on that? And today it doesn't really matter. The village voters are going to come out today and make a judgment, right?
Yes, they are. So as far as the depiction, as far as 2016 graphic design standards go, sure, the seal looks a little animated and perhaps outdated. But again, it doesn't. If you know the history, it shows absolutely no ill intent whatsoever. Right.
The problem, though, that I'm just going to take devil's advocate. This story hit national news, and we are in we're in this we were until Trump came into the picture, in this politically correct arena where people can you believe in this little village in upstate New York, they have this emblem, and all the village trucks have it, and it looks like this man is choking an Indian. The only thing that I'm saying is, if you in the advertising world and in the branding world, if you have to explain it, you got a problem, right? I mean, because you're not going to be able to explain the history to every person who sees it. What about a redesign that actually looks like you have this man who Whitesboro is named after? Looks like he's wrestling the Oneida Indian. What are your thoughts?
So tonight, when our residents go to cast their vote, there's going to be several different options for them to look at and to choose.
So they'll actually see artwork?
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, they're going to have several choices to choose from. Created by a design company out of the area. There is a local submission. So ultimately they can cast their opinion to change it, or certainly they have the right to keep it the same. And ultimately we decided as a board that this isn't a decision that should be made just by the 5 sitting members of the village board. Certainly we represent the residents of our community, some that have been there more than 50 years. So ultimately, we're going to let everybody weigh in on how they want to be represented.
I think that's a good idea. Let everybody come out and cast their vote. I'm assuming that some of the depictions that you've had done look more like a wrestling match than what others think this current emblem looks like.
Yes, that's a fair statement. Okay. There'll be a nature scene, and different depictions of Mr. White and the Native American. So we'll see how it turns out tonight. But
right,
residents can vote between 6 and 9 at 10 Mosley Street at the village office. Now we determined that the fairest way to determine who would be able to vote would be that you need to be a registered member of the Board of Elections, registered in the village of Whitesboro to vote. We wanted to alleviate just everybody coming from everywhere attempting to vote. So,
okay, all right, Andrew.
So what's the talk around the town? What sort of feeling are you getting from the people who live there about what their decision's going to be?
We've had several residents call and ask why we're even doing this. They say they like their seal, they want to keep their seal. And I think in large part it's because they're the ones that truly know the history behind it. So, it's easy to sit in New York City or California or Atlanta, Georgia, and look at a symbol and make a determination of what your opinion is without knowing any of the other facts. So
not that my opinion is worth anything, but it doesn't matter. And I'm not here to. You guys are going to vote on this today, but it doesn't matter that you know what it means. It only matters what other people see. That's the problem that I find with this, Mayor, is that if you have to explain it to people, then you have a problem. And to me, the emblem should change today. And I don't think you should change it. Keep the wrestling match thing, but have it look like a wrestling match. Don't have it look like he's choking the guy, because it just doesn't. There's no wrestling move where you come up and grab somebody's neck. There is no such move. Not that way. So if people think that it looks wrong, or if you have to explain to them, well, here's the history, the picture should tell the history. And if the picture doesn't, it's a bad picture, it should change. I'm sorry, that's just my belief.
You just don't
so.
like the picture.
No, it's a terrible picture. And it depicts, it sends the wrong message to everyone else who doesn't know the story. The emblem should tell the story of Whitesboro. Well, and Mayor, I just don't believe it does. And I hope that voters today make the right choice.
Well, the right choice is essentially, whatever they feel. And certainly, your opinion is your opinion, and I certainly respect that, Bill. But it's extremely difficult to tell the entire history of a village with one picture, regardless of what it is or how good it is. So,
it's like throwing up the middle finger and saying, "I don't mean that. This is what I mean by that." I mean, it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Certainly, I want everyone to know that regardless of how public opinion turns out tonight, we certainly don't feel that way, and we're certainly not taking that approach. So,
and listen, I listen. You do a great job.
I appreciate that.
It is just on this topic.
It wasn't in the newer picture. I say the newer one. Didn't they move the hands down? Weren't his hands up higher? So
that's correct.
So initially, believe it or not, it was worse than what you think you see now.
Yeah, over the years, because of the concern about it, there have been slight changes made so that it did not appear to be as outwardly offensive that it originally was.
Yeah.
So I can't speak to the specifics of the timing of that. Again, it was back in the 70s. You never think that being the mayor of the village of Whitesboro, you're going to wake up and find your community on national news over this issue, but it is, and here we are. But however it turns out tonight, we're going to move forward, and Whitesboro is made up of unbelievable people, and they take a lot of pride in their community and the history of it. So,
I do have to say that I'm sure there are people out there saying, "Oh, he's going down this politically correct road. You can't offend anybody." No, all I'm saying is, why do we want to be? This is a waste of time. Why have an emblem that's going to force you to have to go through controversy? And whether it's right or wrong, that's all I'm saying. It's not about being politically correct. It's about, why deal with it? It's a waste of time. We could be actually talking about moving the area forward and how Whitesboro is going to be maybe benefiting from nanotechnology or what have you. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you know what, Bill? That doesn't push people's buttons or sell newspapers.
You're right. That's a very good point. You're right. The minute somebody saw that, they thought they had click gold, is what they call it. They knew that they posted that story. Everybody was going to click on it. And that kind of is my point. Just avoid the whole thing altogether.
Well, what you're saying,
don't worry about it.
That'll change effective tonight.
Yeah, whatever happens. Can we see pictures of what the options are, what voters will see?
We're not going to release any of the pictures until we open the polls for voting. So.
Okay, cool. Makes me want to come and sneak in there and say I'm a Whitesboro guy. So,
well, you know what? You're welcome to come and sneak in, Bill, but you just can't cast your vote.
I just can't cast a vote. Listen, whatever you guys decide, I'm sure it'll be the right thing, and we appreciate you communicating with us, Pat. It's always a pleasure. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good day, guys.
Mayor Pat O'Connor. All right, olive oil. Did anybody see the piece on 60 Minutes the other night?
No.
They're saying that 60 to 80% of all the olive oil you buy in the United States, imported from Italy, is probably not even olive oil. It's most likely some sort of a vegetable oil, and they put a coloring in it to make it look like it's olive oil, and it is not. And you can taste the difference if you know, and you can compare it to a good olive oil. This started for us when we did the restaurant tour, and Andrew was a part of this. We were out at Pino Bianco at the Turning Stone, and the guy said, "I'm going to give you an imported olive oil. This is actual olive oil, not what you buy in the store." And I tasted it, and I'm like, boy, this must be just really expensive. This is what the really expensive olive oils taste like. And it turns out olive oil is expensive. But it turns out we're just drinking like vegetable oil or consuming.
Well, one, and I think maybe this was the point of it. I can't believe there's not. What is it? There's going to be lawsuits, right?
I think that 4 of the major companies that sell Italian imported olive oil are being sued right now because it is not what they say. And if you look at the writing, a lot of times it'll say this is imported, and you think it's Italian, and then you look at the bottom and it's imported from Tunisia, Spain, and all different parts of the world, and they're all just mixed together. That's if it is olive oil to begin with. The 60 Minutes piece said that much of the olive oil you're getting is not even olive oil at all.
So the other thing is, this is probably going to, if everyone's going to start selling real olive oil and it's expensive, you're going to see the price go through the roof.
Maybe.
Because they're getting over passing off a
it's
phony.
It's still expensive. I mean, if you get good extra virgin olive oil, it's going to cost you a little bit. So we went there's a place in Sangertown Square that has olive oil, and it has all of these canisters, and you get to taste test. And some of them are flavored. Most of them are flavored. And they have balsamic vinegar there, too, which is amazing when you get a really good balsamic vinegar. But we did the taste test, and it was like going on a wine tour. And it's right in Sangertown Square. It's called Adirondack Olive Oil Company. And you can put it up. I brought some home and put it up against the olive oil that I thought was a premium imported Italian olive oil, and I might as well have just been eating Wesson oil.
Wow.
It's that much of a difference. So we're going to do a taste test in studio, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. And when they test it, you take a little drink of the olive oil, and then they make this noise, and they aerate it in the back of their throat, and that just makes the flavor of the oil. It magnifies it. I'm telling you, you'll be shocked. But check it out for yourself. It's Adirondack Olive Oil Company. Got a break at WIBX. Sean Penn has become a critically acclaimed actor.
And director.
And I think that if you were to do an interview, probably he's doing an interview for the interview he's doing was for Rolling Stone magazine with El Chapo, right? What's the guy's name?
Yeah, Chapo. Yeah, El Chapo.
But his real name is
Joaquin El Chapo Guzman.
I just wanted to hear Christine say that. And anyway, I'm just kidding. I didn't know the name. Yeah, I can barely remember everybody's name.
I thought it was Joaquin, by the way. I thought we got a clarification.
No, remember? No, he corrected me that it's Joaquin, but I agree that it's Joaquin.
No, he said Joaquin.
He said corrected you
that
it wasn't that.
Joaquin, right?
Yeah.
Joaquin.
Yeah.
This is an interesting story, though. If you had been contacted as a journalist by this guy, they say Joaquin Guzman wants to talk to you. Do you take the interview?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Listen, unless I was involved in something underhanded, and I know, like, I didn't steal this guy's brick of cocaine or something like that, or whatever drug he sells. If I'm not involved, I would say probably yeah.
Of
Don't
course.
you think that Sean Penn was like, okay, I did the interview and it really went well. Now I hear you've got some really good pot.
How about you bring out a sample buffet?
That's right.
Well, but I mean, now Sean Penn's in hot water because of the fact that
he's protected.
How is he protected?
He's protected under the First Amendment. It's a freedom of press, free speech. He was doing it for Rolling Stone magazine. It is an in-depth interview about the life of this guy. I believe he's completely protected.
But he knows the location of a man who has been convicted of several really heinous crimes.
Oh, well.
Well,
That's
but see, the
That's
thing is, they're saying that
you can't, and that he's the reason they caught him. You
Right.
realize,
Understood.
because they were tracking Sean Penn.
Understood.
And for the record, Jeff, it's not just one drug. Apparently, in the article, he talks about being
cocaine,
the number
meth,
of cocaine,
the whole-
meth.
That's why I said a
Heroin.
buffet,
Yeah.
a whole buffet. You know,
Yeah.
try a little this, try
But
a
he
little that.
started at
Well, I'm
age,
sure Sean Penn may have.
he started at age like 12 doing selling pot. And he said his family could not afford to survive, and that's why he does what he does. But do you know this guy has a fleet of airplanes? He has a fleet of submarines.
So this is what's crazy to me.
What?
Submarines. Yeah.
That's wow.
So that's how they're probably distributing this to the United States. They're coming in a. I mean, can't the military? It's like, wouldn't the military be like, whoa, we have a submarine? Not everybody sails around in a submarine. Wow. Wouldn't we have caught this? Wouldn't we have been? Our military would have discovered that there's a sub off the coast of California or
well, and to
wherever.
his credit, how strong is his hold over these people that he has all of these employees
They love him.
and no one has turned him in.
Yeah.
Or tried to kill him,
Or tried to kill him.
tried to kill him. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and what he's also said is, you can catch me, but it will not stop. The operation is bigger than
and he
bigger than
escaped
him.
once. What
He's
makes you think
escaped.
he
No, he
can't
escaped twice.
Twice.
Yeah, so
He's escaped from prison 2 times.
This guy has so much money that he was in jail, and they built. Am I right about this? They built an underground tunnle to his cell.
This underground tunnel was so.
Got him out.
This thing was so amazing. You needed to have air pumped in, because it didn't have enough. There wasn't enough oxygen down. It was that elaborate.
And wasn't there a thing about they had to put a bird down there to make sure that he could breathe down there?
I believe I heard something like that. And then, of course, they had this motorcycle on a track, and that's what moved him through.
Yeah.
It was incredibly elaborate. They have all the money in the world, all the security. And the way Sean Penn described this is that when he was brought in, it was a military fortress. It was like a government was bringing him in. It wasn't like a drug kingpin. It was like the head of a government with the backing of the government's military.
Is it safe
That's
to
what's
say,
going on over
this
there.
may be a dumb question, but is it safe to say that he himself and his crime organization has, or his, what do they call him now?
I would say it's
Cartel.
Cartel, yes, thank you. Has more money than the Mexican government?
Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
probably
Is
could be.
that
Oh, $1 billion lottery. Oh, that's nothing. He's probably laughing at us. We're all going
He probably
nuts
does
over
one
$1
every
billion.
Saturday night for his employees.
That's right.
I win again. Sorry.
You get $1 billion and a joint.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So I guess my question is you talk about the people who work for him. I would imagine they found this guy. They found his compound, right? They tracked him. They went in and they arrested him, supposedly.
Yeah.
All these other employees got to be arrested too, right? They're a part of a major drug cartel. I wonder how loyal they'll be.
Well, and it's going to
afterward.
be interesting, as Christine says, to see what trouble Sean Penn does get in, but I believe he's protected. The Mexican government wants to talk to him, though, so I don't know that his protections under our Constitution will protect him in Mexico.
Well, the White House says they won't comment on a pending investigation, but there is.
Yeah. Well, again, they can investigate all they want. I don't know how.
Right.
I don't know how they can prosecute him for anything. I believe, is that us? Are you hearing that? No, we're good. Okay, online or in studio right now. I'd like to say hi to Cindy Chan Phillips and Happy New Year. Good morning.
Happy New Year to you, Bill.
From
How
the
are you?
Beef Council. So I'm on the Mediterranean diet now. So it's one diet after another, but this
She's
is not
not
really.
buying it.
This is not really a diet. Every time you come in, I just keep getting bigger and bigger. My diets are going really well, I think.
Well, I think you might like the overarching theme from this current, the new dietary guidelines for Americans. It's the official name is 2015-2020 dietary guidelines, which indicate that it covers the the next 5 years. So the federal government updates the dietary guidelines every 5 years. And
meat is good all of a sudden.
Well, I think the dietary guidelines affirm that lean meats and protein are a key part of a healthy diet.
Yeah.
So why we care about the dietary guidelines, because they form the basis of all national food and nutrition programs and policies, such as the National School Lunch Program's Nutrition Standard. All will follow from it.
That's big.
So did
you see though what they came out and like the PETA people came out and were like, oh, come on, the beef industry bought off the government. They paid for this, and that's not true.
That is not true.
Yeah.
The mission of the dietary guideline advisory committees, they have to review the latest evidence and science for the last 5 years. So I think the good news is that science wins. And everybody wins because the science is really reflected in the current guidelines. And then what people are referring to is we see that as a great chance for everybody to really showcase the good news and evidence that lean beef and other lean meats are a key part of a healthy diet. So the overarching theme is that instead of focusing on one nutrient, the guidelines recommend that we follow a healthy dietary pattern.
So you should have fish, you should have chicken, you should have beef.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's it. A balanced diet should include the following few things: fruits, vegetables. A variety is great, and also grains. Half of your grains should be whole grains, low-fat and fat-free dairy, and lean meats, other proteins, and don't forget physical activity, all part of a healthy dietary patterns. So we all start with our plate, right? Start with making healthy choices for our plate and for our snacks, but it's really what you choose as an overall pattern that consists of the element we talk about that really matter over the lifetime.
And this is kind of like when I say that I'm on a diet, I really don't feel like I am. I've just finally given it to my wife and let her handle it because I've not done very well, and so she's going this thing that's called like a Mediterranean diet, which is exactly what you talk about. It's eating fish, it's eating chicken, it's eating beef, it's eating vegetables and fruit, and eating some bread. And there are some fats that you should have that are actually good for you. I'm not going to lose 30 pounds in 2 months, like I did on the whatever that whatever those are. But I'm going to lose it gradually. And I should be able to keep it off if I change the lifestyle, right? That's
precisely. I think
kind of what you've always said.
I am so happy. I'm so happy to hear you say that.
Well, I haven't succeeded yet. Don't get too happy.
That shouldn't be I think that should not be the aim to lose 30 pounds in 1 month, because you should try to aim for that small shift that allow you to sustain it. And that's really one of the key themes of the new dietary guidelines, is to make that small shift. For example, instead of drinking a can of soda every day, why not maybe alternate on Tuesday and Thursday, maybe go for some water sweetened with some cranberry juice. Now, added sugar, those of you who have a sweet tooth, here's the thing, it's a big thing from the dietary guidelines as well, is we are recommended to limit the percentage of calories from added sugars to no more than 10%. And
sugar and salt are two things we got to keep an eye on.
Sugar and salt, right. Translating for you, 10% equivalent to about 12 teaspoons of sugar. So for those of you who like to drink a can of soda, 1 can of soda can easily max you out of your limit of added sugars.
Okay, I want to talk about this olive oil thing. Did you see the piece on 60 Minutes the other night? I know it's different, but sometimes you'll have olive oil with beef. I know you're a nutritionist. So olive oil is good for you, right? I mean, it's a good alternative.
Yes, olive oil is known for its monounsaturated fat and is known to be good for heart health.
So then we find out that most of the olive oil that we buy in the United States is counterfeit and probably just vegetable oil or something that isn't so good for you, or a nut oil like maybe sunflower seed oil, or I'm not sure if that's a nut, but something that someone might be, this was on 60 Minutes, that somebody might be actually allergic to. And here they are consuming this, thinking it's olive oil, and it's actually not. Most of the olive oil that you buy is counterfeit.
Well, I think a mix of vegetable oils, it's okay.
Right.
But as you say, some people
if you're buying olive oil, then you should be buying olive oil.
You should be buying olive oil. And as you say, some people might be allergic to some nuts. So nut
Right,
oil
right.
can be
Yep.
problematic for a lot of people.
So beef is good.
I would recommend people to go for lean cuts of beef. That's, and again, the recommendations of dietary
So which
guidelines.
cuts are we talking about?
Yeah,
We're
thank
talking
you.
about the words. Look for the words.
Delmonico steak, very lean.
I'm sorry, no.
Yeah, you're right.
Look for the words loin in the name. So your top loin, sirloin, tenderloin, strip loin,
Okay.
they're all lean. And look for the word round. Round is the sort of the bottom of the cattle, and it carries a 2,000-pound animal, so it's very, very lean. Top round, bottom round, London broil, all lean. And if you like ground beef, look for 95% lean ground beef.
So
actually-
tenderloin, your fillet.
Correct.
Would be,
Tenderloin is the
okay.
number one most tender cut in the of all the beef cuts, and it's also lean. Now, what does that mean translate for all of us? Lean stands for less than 10 grams of fat, less than 4.5 grams of saturated fat, and less than 95 milligrams of cholesterol. Cholesterol, by the way, is another big news from the dietary guidelines. And cholesterol is now no longer a nutrient of concern because science, we have known all along that science show that there's really no link between cholesterol in your food and cholesterol in your blood. So the dietary guidelines now finally caught up to the science.
So this is why when they say I'm just going to lower my cholesterol, the bad cholesterol in my blood, I'm just going to lower it with diet. And what we're learning here is that the reason that doesn't work is because it doesn't work. That's why you got to go on these medicines that cause additional problems.
Now, cholesterol is more than just one number, as we know.
Right.
Cholesterol, you have the LDL, which is the bad cholesterol in our serum, as well as HDL, which is the good cholesterol.
Right.
You know what is really effective in raising your good cholesterol, not so much from food, is exercise.
Exercise, yes.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Yeah.
How do
Thank
you lower the bad one then? If it's not food related, is it also exercise to lower the
Well,
bad one?
a lot of science do show that saturated fat is linked to elevated LDL. So if you watch your intake of saturated fat to, according to the guidelines, less than 10% of your daily calories, that will be helpful. And exercise also help as well.
And then just one more. What are the bad cuts? I won't remember the good cuts. Tell me the ones not to buy.
I think you're going to be very, very hard to say not to eat something, but I
Yeah.
was in moderation. For example,
Like a New York strip, yes, no?
New York strip is a lean cut because
Okay.
it's strip loin. It says the word
What
loin
was the
in
one
it.
you said?
Delmonico, prime rib. You
prime
could,
rib, and
Are
these
too
are
much
gonna be-
fat.
rib
yeah.
eye that has
Okay.
more fat. However,
But the problem is the more the fat, the more marbly the meat, the better the flavor.
yes.
So like a fillet, you have to put a sauce on the fillet or season it pretty well because the fillet doesn't have the taste that like a Delmonico does.
Okay.
Well, many people might disagree with you.
I know my wife does.
And I think a piece of lean cut of beef is best enjoyed with just minimally seasoning of like just a little dash of pepper and
Yeah,
salt. And I think because of the umami taste of the beef, it just gives you that great taste. So back to Jeff, I think food need to be part of your enjoyment. If you are really, you really want to have a piece of ribeye, go for it. And again, going back to the overarching principle of the dietary guidelines, it's what you do throughout your lifetime that matters. It's not just one meal or one choice that you make in
I
one
know.
day.
I have a
I'm
feeling.
one bad choice after another. You just look at me.
I have a feeling that you're in the same boat I am, but I've got to be honest. Anytime I've ever tried to lose weight or eat right, it's always so that I can get to a point where I'm healthy, so that I can binge
right
and eat
back
whatever
again.
I want.
Yeah. Yep.
So I can eat
And that's
20
why-
chicken wings when I watch the game.
And that's why I'm trying to do what my wife is, and I'm following it, and I am, and I've cut way back on alcohol. I'm only doing like a 3-ounce glass of wine with dinner.
Oh,
How many?
Good news to you.
7 of them.
Oh, yeah. Well, I want to say good
I've always said 7 times 3 equals 3.
Bill, I
7
was
times.
almost trying to congratulate you, and then you finish your
No,
sentence. I need to take it back.
I am strictly following this. On the weekend, I
Okay.
might have a glass of vodka on the weekends, but during the week, I am very and like last night, I didn't have any wine at all, and I probably won't most nights. But if I do have something, it'll be a 3-ounce glass of wine, and 3 ounces is not a lot.
Not a lot. And then you might be happy to hear that the guidelines do affirm that 1 drink is okay for ladies, and 2 drinks a day is
I'm up to
okay
6
for men. However, if you don't drink, don't start.
Right. There's no reason to drink, right? Although they do say that red wine actually has some health benefits.
That's indeed science has shown that the
I love
nutrient
science.
in red wine has some health benefit. Any coffee drinker here?
Yes.
I'm not, but I hear that's good for you too. Black coffee, especially, right?
You'll be happy to hear that the dietary guidelines do affirm that up to 5 cups of coffee, 3 to 5 cups of coffee,
A
are
day?
okay. Okay.
Wow.
So up to 400 milligrams of caffeine can be part of a healthy diet. And again, the underlying message is if you don't drink coffee, you don't have to start.
Right.
And if your coffee resembles a warm ice cream cone, that's probably not in the dietary guidelines.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Christine, because over the weekend we stopped in for an appetizer at Taylor and the Cook, where we enjoyed a very lean sweet corn ice cream. Now,
What?
I have never thought about such a thing, putting the two together. And there was not kernels of sweet corn. It was all ground up into the ice cream. It was vanilla ice cream with a sweet corn, natural sweet corn flavor. And oh my God, it might be the best thing I've ever had in my life. Can you just
Really?
think of sweet corn? And it has that buttery, that is not, I don't think this is on my diet, by the way. But oh my God, it was unbelievable.
Look, listen to him. How much he got the satisfaction from it. You got to feel satisfied from your diet. So I really
You're
see
right.
the difference between Bill's approach now and what you're describing, Jeff. And don't deprive yourself.
Okay.
Aim for the gradual change.
The real one who's really done well is Andrew, who looks like a
He
million
does
bucks.
look great. I mean, I didn't have a chance to make a comment to him. You look great.
Thank
Andrew.
you, Cindy.
We hate him. Here.
I fell off the holiday wagon a little bit, but I'm getting back on track. So.
All right, good stuff. Sin. I'm always glad to have you in here. Thank you so much. And, of course, the website is...
www.nybeef.org.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you.
We need to do a promo
boy.
for the YouTube channel for that. Can I just very quickly convey the conversation that I had with you over the weekend about what happened when I went to go buy a Powerball ticket?
Yes.
It was so magical. I went in to buy a Powerball ticket at one of the convenience stores in New Hartford, and there was a guy there who he was an older gentleman, very well off, said it's a scam, and he thought that it was a scam, and he never plays, but he was going to play. And then there was another gentleman.
How do you know he was well off?
Well, because he told me in the car that he was driving was a car that I will
okay,
never be
all
able
right.
to afford unless
All right.
I win the Powerball.
I have a lot of money. I don't need this, but... you know.
But then there was another gentleman who spoke very broken English and didn't know how to play the Powerball. There were a couple other guys in line who were buying tickets. They knew the deal. And then the 2 guys behind the counter. And I walked in there, and it was kind of like, oh, you're all buying Powerball tickets. You know, it turned into this thing where we were all ending up helping each other pick numbers, pick each other's Powerballs, wishing each other luck. I thought we were going to have like this big hug.
Kumbaya, yeah.
Kumbaya. It was so amazing. So...
Well, you know, I always resist that because I'll tell you why,
'Cause you're
Christine.
mean.
I'm grumpy, maybe, but for a good reason, and this is it. The more you talk to people, the more they're likely to sue you. The more if they give you a number, they're going to be like, if you were to win, they would track you down and say, you owe me 1/6 of that because I gave you that number 31.
No, I'm going to have faith in
You
humanity
can't.
and say
You
that's
just
not going
can't
to
have
happen.
faith.
I don't understand this, but I'm looking up now the Powerball prize structure. Okay, if you
That's
get
terrible.
the Powerball, just the Powerball, you win $4.
Okay, I won 4 then.
Okay, if you get the number, one number plus the Powerball, you win $4.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
Well, it gets worse.
If you get 2 numbers plus the Powerball, you win $7. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the Powerball is 5 numbers and then a
Plus the
Powerball.
Powerball.
If you hit 3 of the 5 Powerball numbers, no Powerball, just 3 numbers, you win $7.
Keep going.
Okay, if you get 3 numbers plus the Powerball, you get $100. If you get 4 of 5 numbers and no Powerball, you get $100.
$100
Are you
for
kidding
that.
me?
So it's
How hard is it to get-
4-number jump. So it's a $900,000 jump.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
but if you get
No,
four
no.
numbers, if you get 4 numbers and the Powerball, you get, I think it's $1 million.
No, if you get 4 numbers in the Powerball, you get $50,000.
Yeah, and then
That
it goes
is
up to
it.
$1 million.
So it goes
if you
from
get
$50,000 to $1.3 billion.
No,
Look,
no.
you
If you get the
ingrates.
5 Powerball, if you get the 5 numbers and no Powerball, you get $1 million.
Okay,
Yes,
all right,
yes.
okay.
Yeah.
So one of the big debates I was having,
Jeez.
I forget with who, do more poor people win the big jackpots or rich people? And I was under the understanding that every time I hear about a big jackpot winner, it's like somebody that's already got millions of dollars anyway.
Listen, somebody wins. Listen, you pay the money, you win. That's just how it goes. Let me take Jeff Birnbaum first. He's waiting on the line from Fox News. Good morning, Jeff. How are you?
Good morning.
Do you play? I mean, you have millions.
I don't have millions, and I have played. In fact, our whole office has joined together. I think we'll have to do it again, right?
I guess we have to. I mean, we just think where this thing can go. I mean, if we're at 1.3 now, where's it going to end up on Wednesday? It's crazy. Listen, tomorrow night is the State of the Union, and I thought this was very interesting, where Republicans, many of them are saying, it's a waste of time for us to even give a response. There are better ways to do it. What's going on there?
Well, there are a few Republicans in the House of Representatives who have said, why bother? Because not many people watch the response. I think that's wrong, though.
I do, too.
Certainly a lot of people watch the response, and a response is absolutely necessary. Just because there aren't as many people who watch the response as watch the actual State of the Union doesn't mean it's not worth doing.
Yeah.
In addition, it's an honor to be asked to give the response, and the people who have done so in the past have gone on to have a pretty high profile, some of them, nationally.
Well, they say that this year the person giving the response could be the vice president.
Could be the vice presidential nominee for the Republican Party without question. That's Nikki Haley, who is the governor of South Carolina, a real rising star. And I think that this will be her tryout, if you will, for running as on the ticket this year, depending on who, of course, wins the top spot. She would certainly be a compliment to almost any of them, and in a very positive way, especially as most people expect that her response is expected to be well-reasoned and well-delivered.
Yeah, this one, I almost, with her giving it, I'm very intrigued by it. I feel she's somebody that it'd be worth sticking around and watching the response.
I think so.
Yeah.
Certainly to see if she does it well.
Yeah.
People like Bobby Jindal, the governor of Louisiana, gave a poor one, and he never quite recovered from it.
Was it the bottled water, or was that it?
No, that was Marco Rubio.
That's right.
And he apparently has recovered from that.
Yes, he seems to be doing okay.
He memorably lunged for his bottle of water in the middle of his English language response to the president a couple of years ago, and but here he is contesting for the Republican nomination for president.
Yeah, he seems to have survived quite well. So, going to be very interesting, Jeff. We appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, Jeff Birnbaum, Fox News. They'll be playing. They're playing the lottery. They're going to do it. The whole Fox News crew. They're all going out and having an office pool. We do the same thing. We actually have some winning tickets. Well, I guess they aren't winning tickets, but I wonder, in this envelope that I have 5 envelopes with Powerball tickets that we gave away on Friday. And one of those could very well have 5 of the numbers and not the Powerball, which would mean it would be worth $1 million.
We'll take it.
Okay, here's my Powerball idea. Now it's up to, they projected at $1.3 billion
currently,
for Wednesday night's drawing. I don't know if anyone's going to win, but even if someone does win, it's likely going to be one winner, right? So someone's going to get, or a workplace is going to get all that money.
Yeah, it's possible.
Here's my idea. You take the $1 billion Powerball jackpot. You break it up, because I would take $20, let's be honest. You break it up into $100,000 prizes. You'd get 10,000 $100,000 winners. And that's life-changing money, right? Or no?
$100,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be, so you'd be able to have about, 60,000 of it after they took the taxes away from you?
Yeah, so I think we should petition the Powerball to say, listen, I know you got $1 billion, that's great. Instead of making one person super rich, why don't you make 10,000 people you know,
See, $60,000.
a shot in the arm.
$60,000 would be a shot in the arm for some. Could be life-changing for others.
Yeah.
I mean, I was watching that Undercover Boss the other night, and the guy had some store from New York City, and he gave the woman like $20,000. And she's like, that is going to change my life. That is changing my life. Now, $20,000 probably wouldn't. I mean, $20,000 is awesome, but do you know how fast you can spend $20,000?
Yeah. In like an hour, probably less than that. Yeah.
But listen, somebody hands you $20,000. That's pretty awesome.
I'll take it.
As hard as it would be, too, to spend it, I think that right now, without the money in hand, I would say, all right, I got to pay off a good portion of my student loan debt. Because what's the biggest, I mean, what's really the biggest debt that a lot of people have is like their mortgage
House,
and their student loans.
Yeah. Today, I got to tell you, you can spend easily $50,000 on a car.
And I just feel like, you know, if I knew that I could be one.
No, that truck you're driving, I mean, brand new. What's that truck run?
Well,
38,000.
Yeah, probably.
If I could be one.
It feels like that's how much it's costing me.
It cost him 20. He spent 60 on it already.
Yeah.
If I could be one of 10,000, 100,000 winners, you know, I'd have a better chance. I might even buy more tickets too.
I'm not with you, and I'll tell you why it is. I try to explain this to my wife. She doesn't get it. She'd be more like you. I'm saying I'm in this to win big, and if I'm not going to win big, I want something that's really going to change my life. And if it's not going to change my life, well, I'll just keep plugging away. What's the feeling that you have when you come down? For me, I come downstairs, pull out the tickets, I get on my computer, and I look at the numbers. Some people today just do it from their bed or whatever. But for me, I go downstairs, and you go over the numbers. What's the feeling that you have when you realize you didn't even get a Powerball number? You got none of them. You bought like 4 or 5 of them, and you got not a single number.
My expectations of possibly winning are abnormally high. To be 100% honest with you, I feel like because of how infrequently I play the lottery, and when I actually do, when I pay money to get Powerball numbers, I am convinced I am at least going to get $1 million.
How old are you now, Andrew?
25.
Well, that answers that question.
I would get the same nervous emotion and everything for $100,000.
Oh,
100,000 would be huge.
Well, because I don't own
You
a
still
home.
have to pay taxes on the $100,000.
Yeah, you'd walk away with 60. So now you're winning 60.
Listen, $50, I'm in.
60,000, you'd spend it, but then you would not change your life.
No, it
That
wouldn't.
not change your life.
100,000 would though. For me, 100,000 would change my life.
For now, it would.
$75,000 would change my life right now.
All right, let's change Adam's life. Chance to win $100 in cash from the Hobica Law Firm. Good morning, Adam. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Here we go with your question. Big Dipper. Are you ready?
Yes.
Where are you? In New Hartford?
I live in New Hartford, yes.
Okay, here we go. Big Dipper, Little Dipper, North Star, Black Star. On Friday, we learned about Black Star. What is Black Star? Ready? Go.
Constellation.
Is that going to be your final answer? Constellation.
Oh, man. Sorry.
Anybody want to throw the real answer in there?
Somebody who passed away.
Yeah, somebody who passed away, who put out a new album called Black Star.
David Bowie.
David Bowie's new album is called Black Star.
I wonder, do you know what the
released on
significance is of the name Black Star? Because that's kind of prophetic, right?
I want to apologize to Adam for the trickiness of that by doing the Big Dipper, Little Dipper thing. That kind of sent him in a direction. I didn't mean to do that, but that's the way the question. It's the way the question was written, man.
But he's still a winner.
We're going to give you something. Andrew will take care of you, okay?
All right, sounds good.
All right,
Thank
Adam,
you.
thank you. Yeah, Black Star, the new album by David Bowie. Think of the hits. David Bowie passed away at age 69. This song is the one I always thought was like something new that the Beatles had done. Sounds like something the Kinks would do. I mean, he had a lot of sounds that were unique depending on the song that he put out. By the way, if you were to win the $1.3 billion, you could buy the Playboy Mansion for $200 million.
Wait,
There's
so,
a catch, though.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
You have to let Hugh Hefner live there until he
That-
dies.
So
That's funny.
that's the funniest thing is like, hey, included in your $200 million,
You get an old
you
man
get-
dressed in a robe.
You gain a tenant. Yeah, who
You
has
get-
a lot of women coming over to visit.
Gosh.
Yeah, crazy.
Hugh Hefner is included. So let me get this straight. Hugh Hefner is included in the price of the mansion?
I have dragged this on a little bit. We'll let everybody know. Mike Piccola, Joe Camiso, Joe Stanchow, and Joe Load. You want me to do it right
Go
now?
ahead. You go ahead.
Can we do these, Andrew?
Yeah,
Can you pull the winning numbers? Because I want to open these envelopes and see if any of our people have won anything. I have 2 minutes to do it, so got to move quickly. So I'm opening now Joe Camiso's. Joe would share with us in the winnings if we won anything. He gets 3 numbers. Are you ready?
Yeah.
What were the winning numbers?
All right, 32.
No.
16.
Okay.
19. 57.
Yeah.
34. Powerball
Okay.
13.
He's not a winner. Okay, Joe Stanchow. We're going to pull out his envelope. These were sealed.
Very
We didn't
nice.
even look at the. We have no idea if these were winners or not. No Powerball number of 13.
32, 16, 19, 57, 34.
Not a single number on that one. Sorry, Joe. Mike Piccola. Here we go.
These are well sealed.
Okay, Powerball again is 13. These are from Friday, from the weekend's drawing.
We should have had Ricky Gervais come in and do these.
No Powerball here. The numbers again, Andrew.
32, 16, 19, 57, 34.
Nothing there, Mike Capola. And I'm up to Joe Load is the last one here. And
Did
let's
we?
see.
Nobody's even hit a number.
Not even a number. One had one number. Just one number.
Do you get anything for that?
Okay,
Not
Andrew.
unless it's the
This is
Powerball.
for Joe Loads. The Powerball is not hit. The Powerball being 13. And the
32,
numbers are.
16, 19, 57, 34.
I have 2 57s here, but that won't get us anything. Not even $2. None of these tickets. I think out of all these tickets we had, there are about 4 numbers that match from the winning numbers on Saturday night. But now it goes to $1.3 billion. We'll do something. I'm really working on something special that we'll do here on the air to maybe come up with a way to pick the winning numbers. We'll have our own little pool. We'll tell you what that's going to be tomorrow. I'll get into all of that. For now, that's it for us. Remember, wind advisory for today is going to be sunny but 25 and windy. WIBX Utica Rome, we are at 9 o'clock.